It has taken me probably longer than I intended to watch BlacKkKlansman, but I finally got round to it. And while I can say that it is a good film, I don't think it's as good as I was expecting, and I will explain why I feel like that's the case. This was released in 2018. It's directed by Spike Lee, it's written by Spike Lee, Charlie Watchell, David Rabinowitz, and Kevin Wilmot, based on BlacKkKlansman by Ron Stallworth. And we have a cast including John David Washington, Adam Driver, Laura Harrier, and various others. And the narrative, in fact, I'll read the description from IMDb as I think this sums it up quite well without giving away too much. And this says, in this story inspired by true events, Ron Stallworth, an African-American Colorado police officer, successfully infiltrates the local branch of the Ku Klux Klan with the help of a white Jewish colleague. The fact that it's based on true events definitely is something that I think is interesting. I don't know how accurate it is to true events, so if anybody has any information on that, please feel free to share. But that's the bit that I thought was fascinating. And I think it's telling an important story. However, I don't think it told it in a way that was very engaging. As a story, I don't think it's very well executed. Absolutely, it's addressing important topics, but addressing important topics doesn't automatically make a film good. Now, I say all this, it is worth pointing out that this is an Oscar winner, which is one of the reasons why I was wanting to watch it at some point, because I like to see the Oscar winners eventually, to see what all the hype is about. And this one won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay, which I can't comment on as I've not read the source material. It was also nominated for various other Oscars. And in general, I think the story, not in terms of accuracy as I can't comment, but in terms of being engaging, is not very well handled. It's very, very slow. It's always quite atmospheric. We're going back in time to the 70s, and by no means am I an expert on the 70s, but it certainly felt atmospheric. That part of it felt believable. The music is brilliant. The performances are really strong. The characters are well written. Again, I don't know how accurate they are to any real individuals, but certainly the performances are very good. But I don't believe it's as effective or as powerful as the film thinks it is. It's just telling a story in a way that's not engaging. It's very slow. The pacing is terrible. Nothing happens for the bulk of the film. I expected this to be a really heavy, challenging watch. And there are a few moments like that, and those moments are done really well. And if they just carried that energy across to the rest of the film, it would have been really, really strong. There were some powerful moments, but everything in between just feels like fluff. And it's not a very good story. It's a very important topic, and it obviously gets praise for that. But I don't think they've told it in a way that's engaging or interesting. It is tremendously slow, with not a lot happening for the majority of the 2 hours and 15 minutes. They could have condensed this to an hour and 20, and they wouldn't have lost very much at all. So I'm not going to praise it as much as perhaps a lot of people are. It has 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb across 305,000 reviews and ratings. It has a Metascore of 83, but in my opinion, it's rated that highly because it's addressing an important topic. I don't think it does it in a way that's powerful or moving for the duration of the film. Not that every second needs to be intense and gripping and compelling, but there are so few moments like that I don't think they've handled it well at all. Again, I can't comment on how well they've handled the accuracy or what the adaptation is like. If it won an Oscar for the adaptation, I'm going to assume that it's adapted well from the source material. But in my opinion, I don't think they told the story, a really important story, in a way that's meaningful or moving or powerful. I think it falls flat. It's an average film. It's not a bad film, but I think it needs a lot of work to actually be meaningful. And again, there are a few moments throughout that certainly deliver. I don't expect every second of the film to be that strong or powerful, but there is so much fluff in this, there is so much slowness, that it's just kind of tedious to sit through. And unfortunately, that's quite disappointing, because it is an important topic, it is an important time period, and it doesn't present it in a way that's engaging, that I think will hold the viewer's attention. Now, I could be wrong, it's very highly rated, but as I've said before, and I'm sure many people will agree with, films that are generally critically acclaimed, Oscar winners, are generally reviewed higher by the general public because there's this fear that if you rate it lower than average, you're just not getting it. And I'm sure that somebody will listen to my commentary here and tell me that I'm just not getting it, which is fine. People are allowed to think that. But I do wonder how many classic films, not just with this one, I think this is a classic, but I don't think it deserves to be. I think that modern classics, classics, a lot of them remain classics because people think they should like them. And there's maybe not room for movement there, that films will remain classics when I don't think they necessarily should be. This one I don't think is a very good film. I don't think the story is told in a way that's very effective. Again, there are a few moments here and there. I think it's way longer than it needed to be. I feel like, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it's a passion project and there was an inability to cut out all of the fluff and to tighten up the narrative. And I know what that feels like. Speaking as a writer, I will look at words that I've written and think, I don't want to remove it. I want to keep that in. But if it doesn't make the end product very good, if it doesn't make the end product very sharp and effective, it kind of has to go. So BlacKkKlansman isn't a great film. I can't say it doesn't deserve the Oscar because I haven't read the source material, so I can't comment on whether it is a good adaptation. But I certainly don't think it's a powerful film. Again, it's a film with some good moments. So I'd say it's an average film with a few powerful moments. Whereas based on the praise it received, I expected a powerful film with powerful moments. So it didn't deliver. Maybe my hopes were too high, but a film that's so well received, allegedly, I don't think my expectations were higher than they should have been. So I didn't care for it. I don't think it worked well. The powerful moments were very effective, but I don't think the story is told in a way that's going to have the biggest impact. It's an important topic, but that doesn't mean that it's a good film. The technical aspects are all fine. The performances are good. No issues there. But in general, BlacKkKlansman, in my opinion, does not deserve the praise it gets. I feel like it's getting a lot of praise because it's addressing an important topic. But as I said, just because you're addressing an important topic, it doesn't mean that it's a well-crafted film.